Hello and welcome. I'm Damon Bruce. Good to have you along for the NBA here on 2K Sports. Wednesday in the NBA. It's Tony Parker and the San Antonio Spurs going up against the Indiana Pacers. And now let's head out to Indianapolis to join Kevin Harlan for opening tip.
Contest here in Indianapolis. Kevin Harlan here alongside Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. 2K Sports welcomes you to our coverage of the NBA. A look at the San Antonio Spurs opening lineup. McDyess and Duncan, they're inside. Manu and Jefferson on the wings. And it's Parker in at the 1. And for Indiana, Granger, Hansbrough, and Hibbert are the front court. Collison is out there with Paul George.
You know, for the Pacers last season, they really had a difficult time against Western Conference teams. I mean, only going 9-21 in those matchups.
And it's going to be the Pacers off the tip. And here's Collison. He's picked up by Parker. Shoots. Hansbrough. That's good. Hansbrough's got the opening bucket of the night here for the Pacers. You talked about the troubles, Clark, against the Western Conference. For whatever reason, Steve, they struggled to defend Western Conference opponents.
Well, I thought the biggest thing was the West was so much deeper than the East last year, Kevin. The East had some strong teams at the top, but overall, a weaker field of teams. You go out west, and on a nightly basis, you're going against a really tough team. I think that's the disparity in the numbers for Indiana.
Outside Collison. Back to Granger. Shot clock at 6. Hansbrough, the pass to Collison. Drills the three-pointer.
Well, they get those 3 points back in a hurry, don't they?
Yeah, they sure did. Didn't take them long at all to respond.
Well, you have to love what Tyler Hansbrough brought to the Pacers a season ago. The progress he made coming out of North Carolina was really impressive. He's a tough player, competes hard, and his offensive efficiency is impressive.
Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Kevin, Greg Popovich and I got a chance to talk for a bit. Their main focal point is going to be defense, according to him. He said, I want my guys putting a body on every shooter and battling for every rebound. This could turn into a pretty physical basketball game by the sound of it, guys.
Wonderful, Doris. Thanks. They're thinking about Clark and Steve, their defense right off the bat here.
Yeah, you're never going to go wrong putting the bulk of your effort into getting stops. I mean, that always pays off.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if that's going to be the case, if they're going to bring that style and that type of energy, they've got to be ready to go deep into their bench tonight as well.
Here's Duncan after Darren Collison's bucket. It's stolen by Hansbrough.
And you're asking a lot out of your teammate to try to handle that pass. I don't like that decision at all.
Granger against Ginobili. And Granger picks him up defensively for 3. And again, it's San Antonio with a 3. Now we're going to get to Tyler Hansbrough that Steve was just talking about and you work with in Indiana with the Pacers. His NBA career got off to a tough start when he suffered a serious ear infection that gave him vertigo and affected his balance for quite a while. It was kind of scary.
It really was scary because it took a while to diagnose exactly what was going on with Tyler, and once that was cleared up, he got the treatment and had to stay away from physical activity for a long time, but he was back healthy last season, and I tell you what, you love the way...
Now let's take a look at it once again with our Spike Slam Cam.
Come on now, I didn't see it. Can you believe that finish? Boy, a little bit of flair and flavor at the end of it.
Oh, that'll be a fan favorite, all right.
That was not your average typical dunk.
Looking at who's out there now for the Pacers. Jeff Foster's checked in for Hibbert. And it's Rush in for Paul George. Splitter's checked in for San Antonio. Gary Neal comes in for Richard Jefferson. And Duncan, no good on that one.
Well, such a disciplined team, the Spurs, and The core of their defensive plan is to force contested jump shots. No layups, no free throws. They just want teams to have to shoot from the outside.
And Foster kicks to Granger. Shot clock at 5. Over Duncan. And again, it's Indiana converting. You talk about the Spurs forcing contested shots, Steve, from outside. One key, Clark, they didn't foul.
Yeah, and that's one of the keys to being able to, one, play effective defense, but also to be able to get into transition, because when you're not fouling, the rhythm and pace of the game has a way of finding its own level, and the Spurs very good at that. They challenge shots without fouling, but it also allowed them to be able to play this up-tempo game they wanted to play, too.
One of the great stories is last offseason, Popovich got his staff together. They took a lot of views of their own play from the year before. They looked at a lot of European tape, and they just thought, we got to play more of a European style. They didn't want the game to stop. Like you said, they want the game to continue to go and get in that rhythm.
Yeah, exactly. Big part of their success.
Here's Collison. A very friendly bounce off the back iron. Collison's got 7 points in the game. San Antonio trailing here. Duncan left side from about 16, and it's San Antonio with another.
That's a lot of height for the defense to have to deal with.
You know what, guys? I mean, especially against a guy with his touch.
Outside Collison. Kicks it to Hansbrough. Backing down. And that one's good.
I can imagine they're going to hear an earful about this next stop. I mean, that's 3 straight field goals given up right in the middle of the lane. Inexcusable.
Well, defense starts at the rim. I mean, you want teams shooting the ball from the outside, and that's not happening. They're just giving up everything inside.
Well, Clark, we've seen the lead change hands quite a bit in this one.
Yeah, we sure have. I mean, it's been a bit of a windshield wiper game. I mean, back and forth, the lead has gone 5 times, so no one in clear control yet.
I think both teams feel like they can win. They both have confidence. So we'll see which team can kind of ride the momentum and take control of this game.
Plenty of offense in this closely contested first quarter of play. Pacers out in front, up 2.
And you could see early on, guys, they were going to go inside and try to establish their offense in the paint area. That's exactly what they've done.
And I think that's exactly where they should continue to attack moving forward, Steve.
It's more NBA coming your way. And so far, it's been a closely contested game as we get the second quarter up and going. Here's Neal.
I think Darren Collison is penciled in as the Pacers' point guard of the future, and with blazing speed and a really insatiable appetite for the game, the future's bright for him.
Granger and McRoberts are at the 3 and 4. Paul George is out there with George Hill. And it's Foster in at the center. That's the Pacers' 5. Indiana trailing here. Well, Darren Collison's shooting percentages fell back to earth a bit last season following his scintillating rookie season. But, Steve, he's still plenty dangerous offensively.
Well, he's so quick, and he can get around his defender at will, and he's added that jump shot. He's gotten much better with that shot. So, Darren Collison, a guy who can beat you in a lot of different ways.
Gets it to go.
And these two just going at it from deep now.
You know, it seems like what's going on here is anything you can do, I can do better territory.
From the sideline, let's catch up with Doris Burke.
Well, guys, Manu Ginobili out of Argentina, one of the great shooting guards in this league, and he does it all. Defense, rebounding, scoring, passing, you name it. Greg Popovich said he has a willingness to do what it takes to win, and to do it at the highest possible level of intensity every single minute he steps on the court. And fellas, the Spurs have always been judicious with his minutes. His tremendous effort level when he's on the court, a big reason why.
Yeah, with his hard-charging style of play, it makes sense. Thanks, Doris.
That's 9 straight points coming off 3 3-pointers. The defense just getting shelled.
Steve, the threes are killing him. I think they've got to find a way to chase him off the three-point line. 25 and 16 were the Spurs on the road last season, guys. That tied for the 5th best road record in the league.
Granger against Jefferson. The shot's good from Granger.
You start hitting a few of those mid-range shots, and it can open up your whole game.
Spurs trail by 4. And Clark, I think a lot of that is veteran discipline. You talk about the Spurs and how well they played away from San Antonio.
Yep.
Yeah,
Steve, I know you've been through that, played with veteran teams that play well on the road.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Kevin. I mean, you got veterans. You execute. You never fear anything. You know you can win. That's a team that just knows what it's doing, and that shows in their road record.
Hill with it. Wide open look, and he hits the jump shot. George has got 5 points so far.
Boy, he set him up beautifully with that assist, room service style.
Now Ginobili. He's got 12. He kicks it to Jefferson. Back to Ginobili. Clock at 6. No good. And it's the Pacers taking it the other way.
One thing that Popovich doesn't get enough credit for is how he handles the minutes of his players. He really massages those well. He never overuses his guys over the course of the season.
A nice shot by George.
What an offensive display he's putting on.
And at this point, Steve, you got to put more pressure on him. Bring help and make him move the ball.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game. Clark, that's a great point going back to Pop and the way he uses minutes with his team, his players. You know, Steve, the Spurs usually have fresh legs come playoff time.
Well, yeah, but last season it didn't help the argument. You know, normally Pop's teams have kind of eased their way through the regular season, saved it for the playoffs. But last year they exploded to that big win total, and then they lost in the first round. They did look tired. So I don't know, maybe a different approach for the Spurs this year.
Indiana making some changes. Roy Hibbert's checked in for Foster. Hansbrough comes in for Josh McRoberts. And it's Rush in for Danny Granger. San Antonio also making some changes. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for McDyess. Splitter comes in for Manu Ginobili. And Tony Parker is subbed in for Gary Neal. Here's Parker. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. Duncan left side. It's stolen by Hill.
Great defensive work right there. The quick hands lead to the turnover.
He's picked up by Parker. There's the triple. San Antonio with the rebound.
And guys, I'm impressed with Paul George. He was the 10th pick out of Fresno State last year, and Pacers are happy with him. He's athletic. He's got an NBA body. I think he's got a lot of potential. He could become a good player.
Really left alone that time. Jefferson's got 6 points in the quarter.
Well, he's really starting to get in the flow now. A nice groove. That's his second here in the quarter, after none in the first.
Outside Hill. Jefferson against George. 6 to shoot. The dish now to Hansbrough. It counts. Hansbrough's got his third bucket of the night. Well, Clark, here's a player you know a little bit about. Paul George of the Pacers, second-year player, smooth game, nice-looking jump shot. He can slash as a lot of these guys can. Doesn't seem to be a bad defender either.
Well, I think he's got the potential to be a really outstanding player at both ends of the floor. I think he's got stardom in his future. Tremendous athlete, does things easily from an athletic standpoint. Last season, just messing around after practice, he jumped over the 7'2" Roy Hibbert for a dunk. He's got great potential.
And yes, sir, that one drops. Hill's got 5 points so far. Now here's Parker. Offline. Pacers lead by 5.
And it's been a great basketball game going on in Indianapolis. Now time for HP at the half. Indiana with the lead against San Antonio. A dominant offensive display through 2 quarters. They're scoring efficiently. We've seen Darren Collison producing at will against San Antonio. We're at halftime and still he hasn't missed a shot. It's been a pure shooting exhibition. And for the Spurs, it's a grinded-out effort. They're stroking it from outside, hitting the 3 ball with ease. A great performance by Manu Ginobili in the first half. He's got 12 points and a few assists, making nice plays for himself and others. Checking out the point leaders from both teams in this game, you know they're going to bring it again in the second half. And that's going to do it. We'll send you back to the game in Indianapolis. The third quarter is coming up next.
And it's been a back-and-forth game so far with no ground given through the first half. Third quarter starting here now. Here's Parker, looking for his first bucket of the game.
Well, the Pacers historically have always been tough on their home court, and last season was no different. 24-17 in Indianapolis. It's one of the reasons the Pacers made the playoffs.
Here's who Greg Popovich is starting in the second half. Jefferson and McDyess make up the forwards. Parker and Manu are the backcourt, and it's Duncan in at the 5. Outside Collison. He dishes it to Granger. 6 on the shot clock. A 3 ball. Rebounded by the Spurs. Well, Clark, you know all about this Indiana team being in their front office. Dead last in attendance last season, averaging just a little over 13,000 fans. But the team gave the diehard fans something to care about with the playoff experience.
Yeah, they certainly did, and hopefully that'll catapult more fans into coming back to Conseco. In 2001, the team averaged almost 18,000 fans. If the team gets back to contention, you know Indiana loves basketball, and those fans will be back.
Okay, well, let's check in with Doris Burke reporting from our sideline in this game. Doris, take it away.
Kevin, one of the most consistently successful franchises over the years has been the San Antonio Spurs. And all of the people associated with the organization believe that respect is a big part of the Spurs' success. Coach Greg Popovich's view on the matter? Well, this is what he said. Teams that get along, that respect each other, that enjoy being around each other, probably react better on the court. They don't have to be best buddies, but if they can respect each other and enjoy each other's time away from the court, I think that aids them once the game starts. Given that a lot of organizations try to model themselves after the Spurs, sounds like a good philosophy.
Thanks, Doris.
Well, and you can see it out there. I mean, these players all respect each other so well, and that's why they've had such a great run here in San Antonio for so long. Great respect for each other and for their coach.
Well, a disappointing playoff performance last season for San Antonio. Of the big three, Manu Ginobili was the only one who managed to play well against the Grizzlies.
Granger for the 3. Gets it to go. Granger's got his third basket of the night right there. Here's Ginobili. He's got 14. Going back to Ginobili, he played well in the playoffs despite that hyperextended elbow. Steve, you remember that huge brace he wore?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't get as much attention as what Rajon Rondo went through with his elbow injury, but Ginobili showing every bit as much as toughness as Rondo. I mean, that was impressive, and he was going at Tony Allen and vice versa in that series. A very, very physical confrontation between those two.
San Antonio calls timeout.
And the Spurs were so consistent last year against the entire league. They were 23-7 against the East, and of course did pretty well against the West too.
And some changes here for the Pacers. Hundley comes in for Danny Granger. And it's Rush in for Paul George. Splitter is checked in for the Spurs. Gary Neal comes in for Manu Ginobili. Here's Neal. Dishes it to Parker. Here is Splitter. McDyess dishes to Neal. 6 to shoot. And there's the feed to Splitter.
Well, that should be a rule. No layups. Protect the paint. Make them earn every point.
Yeah, I think that's just tough, hard-nosed, smash-mouth basketball. Make your opponent earn their points from the line. Don't give up any layups. And
that one falls for Splitter. He's off on the second.
Well, you look at this Pacers roster, a nice young blend of talent and size, some versatility. They had the flexibility this past summer to add some other nice players. So this team seems to be on the rise.
They set the pick. Parker left side. Shoots from the baseline, and that one's good. And you know, as Steve was just saying about the youth and options for this Indiana team, we were already able to see some of that impact in last year's playoffs.
And that was so important, Kevin, for the team to get to the playoffs, to be able to show the fans that passion and hard work and competitive spirit and promise of the young players. And I think for the fans, it was a case of everybody starting to see that there's new hope in store for the Indiana Pacers going forward.
Backing him down is Duncan. From the post. Goes up and lays it nice and easy. Duncan's got 8.
They're not as aggressive from the outside here, but maybe they should think about stretching the defense a little bit, like they did in the first half. I mean, stretching the defense makes it easier to score inside, too.
Here's Hansbrough, and again it's Indiana converting.
You know, you can give a defender a lot of trouble if you're consistent with that turnaround jumper. It's almost impossible to block.
Duncan outside. And here's Neal outside. Good. He's got 6.
Well, not the best defensive scheme, and it results in a wide open look.
Outside Collison. Backing down is Hibbert. Hansbrough, the pass to Dunleavy. Open look. And again, it's Indiana converting. Here's Parker. Launches a 3, and that one's good. Parker's got his second basket of the night.
And we have seen the intensity pick up big time here in the second half.
Well, you can feel the desire from both teams that they really want to win this one.
And at the close of the third quarter, still a close game, and both teams putting up points in a hurry. Darren Collison really has his fingerprints all over this one.
Yeah, so far in this one, he's played a different role than normal, but, you know, he's done a nice job as this team's playmaker here today.
And all of it's worked for the most part. I mean, he might not be known as a dime dropper, but after this game, he will be.
It's the Pacers. They're up by 3. Now let's check in with Doris Burke for our Sprite Spark of the game. Doris?
And Kevin, for that great stretch the Pacers put together, they get the Sprite Spark Award. That offensive boom they had to start things off has carried them, and they haven't looked back since, as they have made the most of their early scoring bursts.
Okay, Doris, thank you. And that run, Clark, really changed the complexion of this game.
Yeah, it sure did. I thought it stirred something up in them that got them on a good run.
Yeah, got the ball rolling for them, and they were able to keep it going from there, guys.
All right, now a chance to set the floor courtesy of Gatorade. Fourth quarter action, all fueled up and ready to go. And so in the game for the Pacers, Danny Granger and Tyler Hansbrough make up the forwards. George Hill out there with Paul George, and it's Foster in at the center filling out the middle. Back to Parker. He's picked up by Hill. Shot clock at 6. Jefferson, that's for 2. They get the rebound. Now the pass to Neal. Pass to Blair. Feeds to Neal. From past the arc. And again, it's San Antonio with a 3.
Oh, they're getting scorched by all these open threes they're giving up.
Yeah, it's really been the biggest pitfall for this club so far tonight. So many wide open looks for the opponent.
He feeds it to Hansbrough. Passes to Granger. Some nice passing. Lets the 3 fly. And the Pacers another 3.
Yeah, they're finding the open man. Unselfish play. I like it.
Yeah, I love it too. Teamwork in evidence there, right on full display. A big percentage, a high percentage of their baskets have come off assists.
San Antonio calls timeout.
Kevin, a little factoid here about Danny Granger. You know, he came out of Mexico but played his first 2 years at Bradley and became the first ever Lobo to record 60 assists, 60 blocks, and 60 steals in a season.
And I think Doris Burke has something for us right now. Doris?
Thanks, guys. I was able to hear Greg Popovich coaching his team during that last break. He gave his guys the green light to keep firing from downtown, telling them, listen, I like the work you're doing out there. Keep finding those gaps on the perimeter. They're giving us open shots.
Thanks again, Doris. Here's Quinn. From deep three-point range.
How about that, fellas? That was a small-on-big battle on the board, and the little fella came out with it.
The three from Hill, and again, it's the Pacers from deep.
Now, the thing you notice, you look at the stat sheet, they have a lot more assists. That's been a factor.
Yeah, I like the fact they're moving the ball. Less ISOs, more ball movement, more player movement. It's a fun style to watch, commentate, and to play.
Jefferson kicks to Blair. Here's Quinn. Lets it go from deep. Gets it to go.
And he gets a three of his own. Good answer there.
Yeah, and he's not scared to trade shots like that.
Here's Hill. Now Foster. They set the pick. Backs down. Just 5 to shoot. And Dunleavy gets it to go in.
Boy, that's too easy. You cannot let a shooter that good get a warm-up jump shot like that. If you do that, it'll be raining all day from out there.
San Antonio calls timeout.
He's in one heck of a groove with the scoring. They're going to talk it over and try to figure out how to slow him down.
So an entirely new group in now for Indiana. Roy Hibbert's checked in for Foster. Hansbrough comes in for Josh McRoberts. Paul George, he's checked in for Mike Dunleavy. And it's Collison in for George Hill. Here's Duncan. And Neal kicks to McDyess. Ginobili with a screen on Hansbrough. Here's Neal, defended by George. Clock at 6. That is good. 17 points for Ginobili.
Boy, these threes are picking them apart. I mean, 4 out of the last 5 shots against them, all uncontested, and all are threes.
Yeah, the defense just looks uninterested right now. I mean, they're not making the effort to challenge these shots.
Back to Granger. He passes to Hansbrough. With the clock winding down, and again it's Indiana converting. Here's Parker. There's 1:17 left in the fourth quarter. Picked up by Collison. Ginobili against George. Ginobili dishes to McDyess. It's stolen by Hansbrough.
He's been doing a nice job taking care of the ball. Not many miscues from him in this one. That's his only turnover.
Collison, the pass to Granger. Kicks to George. 3 on the clock. Goes back up. Hibbert gets the bucket. And it's a 9-point Pacer lead.
Yeah, this is a done deal here. They've pretty much finished this team off.
Yep, we can put this one in the books. Too much to overcome now.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. They're behind by 9. 40 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Here's Ginobili. And here is Parker. McDyess with the ball. And it's San Antonio with another.
Yeah, he's so good from that mid-range area.
Here's Collison. 24 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Shot clock at 6. Knocked away. Top of the key. A nice shot by Granger. And the Pacers lead by 9.
And that ought to do it. That should seal the deal.
Yep, I agree. Closing it out with relish.
So it's Indiana picking up the win. It was a solid win, Clark.
Yeah, it was, and I think it came down to will more than skill. They went out and got this one.
Well, it's time to say so long. For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan along with our 2K Sports crew thanking you for tuning in. Now it's time to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Tyler Hansbrough.